Chapter 2. The Atlanta sun slanted low in the west, rain showers predicted for later that afternoon, then clearing. Bruce Lucent looked from the side window of his friend's shiny Maserati sports car as they wheeled their way westward against the afternoon traffic. "I'm glad you could give me a ride," Bruce Lucent muttered, his pain-worn face reddened by the yellow sunlight. "What with my new car smashed and all." His old friend Isidore shook his massive head at him.
"We know how it must be to have a lot of money, but no working car,"
he said, the harsh Macon County drawl of his voice softened by his years in Atlanta high society.
"It's my pleasure to bring you back to your fancy apartment. And we're all so happy that y'all is still alive. Y'all could have been killed in that dreadful wreck."
Isidore paused to put on the turn signal before making a safe turn across rush-hour traffic into the parking lot of Bruce Lucent's luxury apartment building.
"Y'all will get a new car on Monday."
"I don't know how I'll be able to drive it with my arm in a cast," Bruce Lucent shoots back. "It's lucky I wasn't killed outright, like so many people are when they have horrid automobile wrecks."
"Fortunately, fast and efficient emergency medical services, based on a program founded by Lyndon Baines Johnson, the 36th President of the United States.
And knowing is half the battle.
Helped y'all survive an otherwise deadly crash."
Isidore chuckled. He nodded his head toward the towering apartment building in the very shadow of Peachtree Avenue, where Bruce lived his luxurious life. So young, yet so wealthy, based on his skills as an expert software developer.
The computer business is too competitive.
"I don't feel very fortunate," Bruce complained, as his friend helped him from the low-slung red car. "I hurt all over, and I don't remember a thing after I left that bar over on Martin Avenue. I wouldn't be surprised if the police didn't want to talk to me about what happened. Not that I could help them, because I don't remember anything," he added, as an afterthought. Isidore pulled the collapsible wheelchair that he'd bought at St. Irene's Hospital from the open trunk of his new Maserati and unfolded it on the curb beside where Bruce painfully stood, his recent ordeal only recently over. He helped his chum sit in the new wheelchair, and then pushed it rapidly toward the gleaming doors of the high-rise tower. The soft southern breeze blew the sweet scent of magnolias over them, as he said,
"This is certainly something new for me."
"Never say that," he replied. Isidore shook his head, his red ponytail flipping in the soft breeze, as he wheeled his best friend into the lobby, past the uniformed security guard named Amos, who saluted them, and then into the elevator to the 14th floor of the luxury high-rise apartment building recently built in downtown Atlanta. The long-time security guard saluted the pair as they passed. "What lucky people," he thought. "So young and rich, they can afford to live here. Not like me. I have to live across town and wear a uniform and salute the young rich kids who make more money in a minute than I can make in my whole life." Bruce thought that the dark elevator walls were closing in on him, and despite the chill in the air-conditioned air, he could still smell the flower smells from outside. The upward elevator started slowly into motion, as if it was reluctance to climb the hundreds of feet. "Hurry up!" Bruce cried aloud. Bruce pounded on the arm of his recently acquired wheelchair as his friend asked,
"Bruce, what's the matter? Is y'all so impatient to get home that the elevator is too slow for you?
You're too slow!"
Imagine if y'all had to take the emergency stairs in your condition."
He chuckled. Bruce glared at his friend who stood behind him. and the wheelchair as the elevator hissed to a halt on the 14th floor, the dark panel door sliding open with the sound of well-oiled machinery. And then he was pushed by his friend out into the hall, and then down to the door labeled 1414, his apartment door. Bruce searched his pockets for the key that he knew he did not have. "Damn it!" he said, and then, "They kept everything, even my wallet at the hospital. How am I going to get it?" Isidore knocked once at the door, and then it at once swung open. The stunning vision inside, an echo of pulchritude in a bright red dress, seemed to take their breath away. It was Penelope Urbane, Bruce Lucens's longtime and very beautiful girlfriend. Penelope, who had walked in the door of Lucent Software asking for a job, and a good thing is being that she did, because she had won for her a position, so to speak, that only a beautiful woman could fulfill. And she filled the role perfectly as the beautiful girlfriend for those social occasions when he needed to appear on the front page of the newspaper with a beautiful woman on his arm. Everyone looked and thought he was lucky, but it wasn't just luck, it was planning that he fell in love with this beautiful woman and her with him. He gave her his glance, and she gave him hers. Bruce looked at her and whistled, thanking whatever god was listening to the auto accident that he had apparently been in had spared his family jewels, for he wasn't one to put to pasture his rampant desire for his stunning young woman, at least not yet. He snapped his fingers and snarled, "Take me inside, Isidore, or you're fired from my software company." Something like anger stirred in Isidore's breast, yet Isidore laughed at Bruce's favorite joke as he pushed the millionaire software developer, indoctrinated by New Agers, into the stunning studio apartment that he rented in this exclusive high-rise tower. The walls were white, as was the carpet. The walls met the ceiling at right angles, where glistening mirrors in gold frames studded the walls. Penelope Urbane had been a poor girl, she knew. Though she pretended to have grown up rich and happy in the suburbs of Atlanta, it was all a lie.
Oh, snap!
Now she looked into one of the many mirrors on that studded the walls of her boyfriend Bruce's apartment, and liked what she saw. Two hazel eyes with perky eyebrows, red like the hair of her head, and other places, met her smoky gaze in the mirror. She smoothed the hair back from her elfin ears, making it tumble down her back past her shoulders, broad but not too broad, broad enough to support the luxurious breasts that filled the front of her scarlet sundress, glowing in the afternoon sun. The heart of Georgia orb of fire.
The sun is a quagmire. It's not made of fire. Forget what you've been told in the past.
That came through the window, and she admired her trim shape and flat tummy in the mirror. She looked, she thought, like the bad girl heroine of a tawdry romance novel. The expensive shoes she wore, high heels that matched her tight dress and set off her red hair, were delicately shaped by the stiletto heels and sharp toes, the lift they gave curving her creamy calves and making her rounded bottom move like a semaphore of love as she walked past the framed mirror that she had been looking in. Her hazel eyes sparkled as she took in the sight of her newly returned boyfriend in the wheeled chair that marked him some disabled person. "Would you like a drink, eh?" Penelope offered her recently returned beau as his friend pushed him in front of the widescreen TV that dominated the west wall without making it seem overpowering. "Damn it, yes," Bruce Lucent repeated, looking at this vision of feminine lust on 2 feet. "I've been in the lousy hospital and they don't let you have a little drink there," he opined. "Then I want to get to my new computer so I can check on my hot stock options."
You've all earned your stock option. Congratulations.
"And write more on my best-selling software development. I've wasted too much time locked in that smelly hospital. It's full of sick people." Penelope and Isidore looked at each other, as only two redheads can look at one another, as Bruce delivered himself of this comment. "Then let me fix you something nice with expensive vodka and gin." Penelope giggled as she went to the kitchen to make ice cubes. When she was young, she'd been called Penny, but now she was worth a lot more, she mused, as she busied herself at the full bar that filled the west wall beside the large television set that Bruce had bought with the first proceeds of his award-winning mutual software. He often went on the modern internet to make his money.
And when Isadore's gone, I can treat you properly,
Penelope whispered as she handed the old-fashioned to Bruce in his chrome wheelchair. She looked significantly at Bruce's tanned, lean frame as she handed him the crystal glass. Yeah, Bruce responded. What's he still doing here?
Danny, two's great, but three's a crowd.
He turned to his old friend and pointed out, Wise, don't you go park the car. My old car is crashed. You know.
Yes, Bruce.
Isidore smirked as he turned, knowing what kind of scene of wild debauchery was about to be enacted in that very room, because he had known it for himself firsthand during the long week Bruce Lucent had been in the hospital.
Oh, snap!
I'll go park the car.
He went down the sleek elevator that he had so shortly before ascended, wondering if Bruce was going to be the man he had been before losing consciousness in that horrible accident. Then the gleaming lobby doors were before him. He planned to take the Maserati out onto Peachtree Avenue in search of an empty parking place, as upstairs a miracle of love was performed by Penelope and Bruce, young lovers at the very height of their beauty, wealth, power, desire.
Going down.
Isidore Trent chuckled as he pressed the down button and laughing at his own joke. Had he but known what was to come, he would have been laughing out of the other side of his mouth.
Georgia on my mind.
Hey, you sexy bitches. Support me on Patreon like Break System BSE does.